Welcome to the Dynamic Learning Hub of XLR at Andheri East. A prime spot conveniently located at just a 5-minute walk from LIC Andheri Metro. In our journey of over a decade, we have proudly trained over 2 lakh students. We have also been recognized by Deloitte, Silicon India, and other accreditation bodies. Experience learning like never before in our spacious and comfortable classrooms. With high-definition projectors and state-of-the-art acoustics in place, we ensure effective learning even to the farthest point in the room. The hybrid mode is a game changer as you can enjoy the benefits of a light classroom from the comfort of your home. Even if you happen to miss any classroom session, you can still attend the same session with the same trainer at the same time at your convenience, maintaining consistency in your learning progress. Wanna get started? Join us for a demo or career chat over a cup of coffee at our Andheri branch. XLR. We don't just train, we build careers.
Good morning, everyone. So, Bala, you can start the session.
Yeah.
Thank
Hello,
you.
everyone. Good morning. So, yesterday we have just started with a Linux introduction and the basic understanding. So, today we're going to understand on the commands and how the basic commands that will be helpful for operating the system, okay, the operating system. So, we are trying to review for today. Let's get started. So, to have an operating system, we need a platform. So, I'm trying to have a virtual server launched under AWS, okay. So I'm launching a Linux server, which would be helpful for us to practice and execute the commands as well in the command line interface. Okay. As I told, this Linux machine had a pre-configured SSH tool. So that will help us to execute the commands, right? We have seen yesterday the how that looks like. The same interface I'm trying to log in with. So I think the website should be ready. So this is a SSH console which works under SSH protocol. So I have successfully launched a Linux virtual server inside AWS console. All right. Now, if you see, as I told you, the first information that is trying to show up here, it is nothing but a username and the host or system IP address, and this dollar symbol represents the directory. Correct. So this is a normal user. So whenever we want to execute some administrative command, we need a privileges. For that, we need to have a login with a admin user. That means we are calling that as a root user. Okay. So in Linux terms, we are calling that as a super user as well. That means SU. So initially, whenever we are trying to work on Linux machine, we need high level privileges that will be possible with a root user. So you need to execute this command initially. That is nothing but a sudo su. Okay. Once you enter that, if you see this username got it changed with a root user, that means admin user. By seeing this, we should recognize that we are trying to log in with a root user. Okay. Now this is the IP address of the server, and this is a folder name. That means there is a folder called ec2-user. Whenever a users are getting created, there is a by default folder created. So this is the first command we need to understand. And what is the next command? The command called cd. Cd is a command which will help us to change the directory from one location to another location. As I've told you, in the Windows, we can trying to navigate between different directories by just like clicking, right? But here in the Linux, it is possible only with the help of a command, right? That is with the help of a cd command. Okay. So if I want to move to another directory, as I told you, there are several directories, right? Like a system directories. In the Windows, we have a C directory, C folder, and inside the Windows, drivers, etc, binary folders, there are different directories, correct? In the same way, even the Linux also have a system level folders, correct? So if we want to navigate between different folders, how it is possible? Let's try to understand that. Okay. So let me try to show you that. As I told you, the folder structure in the Linux, it's nothing but a root directory, root structure. I mean the tree-like structure, right? So here the root will be always the primary location. That is nothing but a slash. It is the top directory. Under that, all the below are nothing but a parent directories. So there won't be any parent directory on above the root. Root is the final parent directory. Under the slash, we have a binary etc user variable has been, there are different directories. So for example, if I have to navigate, so for example, if I want to go back to the binary directory, for example, slash bin, right? This is a folder. So I can simply type cd space slash bin. You see, my folder structure, the directory got changed from ec2-user to the bin directory, correct? So if I want to change from bin to boot, boot directory is something where all the boot files, kernel information, everything will be there, correct? So if I have to navigate between boot directory, what should be the command? Simply, we can try to cd space change directory space slash boot. It is navigating me to the boot directory. Okay. So in this way, I can try to navigate between different directories over here, right? Next one, if I have to navigate between variable directory slash var, then I can simply try to go back to the cd space slash var. You see, I've changed to the var directory. Okay. So if I have to go back, I mean, go to the slash sbin system binary files folder, then change directory space slash sbin. Let me try to increase this. You see this slash sbin. So now I've changed to the sbin folder. So if you want to perform any operations and trying to create any files or trying to modify files, you need to go to that particular folder and then trying to execute the relevant commands. Now we have seen sudo command, cd command, right? Now, if I want to see the content inside this folder, like what files are present, okay? If I want to see which files are present because it's not a GUI, I want to see the data inside this folder, then there is a command called ls. You see this? If I try to type ls, there are different information or the data that is coming up. You see this? ls is a command, list command, which will try to show you all the data inside this particular sbin folder. Understood? All the data inside this sbin folder. That means the green color, you know, the information that is trying to show, these are folders. These are nothing but a files, the blue color. You see this? Okay. These are the folders and the files, which are all the information that is present inside that particular folder. Okay. So in this way, ls command will try to help you the information that is present inside some particular sbin folder. Okay. So for example, I'm into the sbin folder and I don't want to touch anything over here because these are system files, right? I want to go back to the home directory, for example, cd space /home. You see, I went to the home directory. Okay. Now I just want to, clear this screen because my screen is full. So I can simply type clear. It will try to give me the top line. Yes. Now I'm into the home directory. So I can try to create any data or the files or anything. For example, as I told you, there is a folder called ec2-user, right? So let's try to go into that folder and trying to perform some operations. Even we can do that, or else we can try to perform some operations over this folder as well. For example, home directory. All right. So for example, I want to do some configuration or the work inside some ec2-user folder. ec2-user is a folder which has been created when I launch a server, right? This is a default folder, that is the folder which I can try to work on, for example. So I'll go to this folder now. Okay. Now I'm into this folder. So if I want to see the content inside this folder, what is the command? I'll type ls. Now you see, when I'm trying to type ls, I don't have any data. It is not showing any data, right? That means this folder is empty. We need to understand that this folder is empty. So we'll try to understand the basic commands. Okay. We will try to understand the basic commands on creating, removing, copying, moving files, and managing the directories. We'll try to understand. The very first command is nothing but a file creation. For example, in this folder, I want to create one of the file so that I want to add some data inside the file. Okay. So cat command is the one with the full form is concatenate command, which is used to create a file and display and modify the contents of a file. So to create a file, what is the command? Cat greater than file name. Okay. So if I try to create with the cat command, a file will be created and you can add the content. Let's see how it will be possible. Okay. So if I try to type cat space greater than, for example, I want to create some file. Okay. This is a file name. Cat is a command. Cat greater than is a command to create a file with this file name. This is a file name. So once I try to create, I'm just trying to add the content. So it is trying to open me a blank page. Hello world. I'm trying to type some data. Okay. Inside the file. Hello world. Okay. Now a file has been created inside this particular folder. So if I want to see the content inside this folder, what is the command I told? It is an ls command, right? If I try to type ls, you see a kt file has been created. This is the file which is created under ec2-user folder. Okay. Cat command which is used to create a file, and inside this particular folder, a file has been created with the name of kt file. Now, if I want to see the content, like what content has been added inside this file, okay, It is similar, nothing but a file that you are trying to create in your own Windows system. For example, hello world, correct? I'll try to save it with a KT file, right? So this is a KT file. In the same way, I'm trying to create a KT file with the data as hello world. That is what I am done here, correct? So I've created this. So I want to see the data. What is the data that has been given inside this KT file? So I want to see that. For that, what is the command? To display the content of the file, cat space file name. Cat space file name will try to show you the information. Cat greater than file name will create a file, and cat space kt file will try to show you the information inside that particular file. So if once I try to enter this, you can see the data which is there inside the file, which will try to show you up here. Okay, this is the command for cat. All right, now I have a data inside this particular kt file. So I want to add some more data inside this KT file. That means additional line or additional text. So what is the command? We'll try to see that again. Okay, I need to append the data. If I want to append the data, to append the data in the already existing file, cat double greater than file name, so that I can try to add the information. Okay, I want to append the data, cat space double greater than KT file. So welcome to XLR Linux class. You see this? I am trying to add the data. So I've appended the data. So which is on the existing file. If I want to see the content of this file again, the same command, cat space KT file. Now you see, it is just trying to append, not deleting that. Hello world and welcome to XLR Linux class. In this way, the cat command can be used to create a file and to see the content and to modify the existing file, to append the data. This is how the cat command will be useful. Okay. Now, I just created a command, the file with a cat command, like a single file. If I have to create multiple files, okay, if I want to create multiple files with a single command, there is a command called touch. Touch command will try to help you with to create a multiple files at one time. Okay, so for example, there is already a KT file inside EC2-user folder. If I want to create multiple files at a time, then I'll use touch space file 1, file 2, file 3. So these files are created. Now, if I want to see the content inside EC2-user, what files has been created, then I simply type ls. You see this? File 1, file 2, file 3, 3 files are there, and already the old file which I've already created before, this file is also presenting here, the KT file. Okay, so touch command will be helpful in this way to create the files as well. Now, we have tried to see how to create a files here, right? Now we can try to understand how to create a directories. Okay, we'll try to understand how to create directories. So to create a directory is nothing but a folder. So to create a directory, we have a command called mkdir. Mkdir is nothing but a making directory. This is a shortcut, right? So I'll simply type mkdir. Mkdir is nothing but making directory space the directory name. That means inside this folder, I am trying to create a directory. Okay, so mkdir space, I can try to give a different names, whatever the name you wish you want to do it. For example, mkdir space directory 1. Okay, mkdir space directory 1, because I want to create a folder inside this EC2-user. So I'll try to enter this. This is done. You can see this mkdir directory 1, correct? If I want to see how many files and how many directories or the folders present inside this particular EC2-user, I can use the same ls command. Let's see. Now you see the directory is in the blue color. That means it is trying to define as that this is the folder, this is a file. So 4 files and 1 directory. So you can see 4 files are there and 1 directory is there, right? I hope everyone are getting understanding, correct? So mkdir is a command to create the directories. For example, if I want to create multiple directories, if I want to make multiple directories inside a directory, then what I need to do? Mkdir minus p. Okay, you can see this mkdir minus p, the old directory name, and inside I want to create Linux directory and also one admin directory. That means I want to create two subdirectories under the parent directory. That means this is the parent directory and this is the subdirectories. Okay, that is a command. So for example, what I need to do? Mkdir space minus p. Now, who is the parent directory here? You can see the parent directory is directory 1, correct? So I'll try to mention as directory 1 slash, and inside this folder I want to add one more folder, that is nothing but a Linux. Okay, and inside this Linux folder I want to add one more folder called admin. So total 2 directories, right? You can see this is my parent folder, this is a subfolder, this is a child folder. Okay, so let's try to see this. If I'm trying to enter make directory minus p, this is a parent directory. Inside this folder I want to create one more folder, two folders, like one is means subfolder, one is child folder, right? I'm trying to enter. So my directories has been created. So to check that, I'm trying to check with a command called ls space minus r. Okay, let us try to do that. ls space minus r. Now if you see here, there are two directories that has been created. Under the directory, there is a Linux folder is created. Under the Linux folder, there is an admin directory created. You see this? That means two subdirectories has been created. So directory 1 is a one main folder. Under the directory 1, there is a Linux folder is created. Under that, there is an admin folder created. If I want to see this information in a structured format, like a tree, like a structure, that is easy to understand, right? So there is a command called tree. Okay, tree is a command which will try to show you an information a tree like a structure. So for that, what I'll try to do, I'll try to install the tree module. Okay, so I'll use a command called yum install tree space -y. This is trying to install this module from the backend Linux repository. So whatever the softwares you are trying to install inside this Linux machine, that will be approved and installed from the backend Linux repository. Repository is something which is nothing but a database. I'm trying to install this module. Let's see. Okay, so I'll try to type clear. So I want to see the content inside this ec2-user. So simply what I need to do, I'll try to type tree. Now if you see, when I'm trying to type tree, it is trying to show me the structure like a tree. Like this is a directory, these are the branches, like a tree, like a structure, right? So here, by seeing this, you need to understand that there are three directories. What are the three directories? Directory 1, Linux directory, admin directory, correct? And 4 files, file 1, file 2, file 3, file 4. These are 4 files. So this is how it will help us to navigate and operate the Linux operating system with the file and directories. Okay, so for example, inside the ec2-user, there is a directory. Inside the directory, there is a Linux folder. Inside the Linux folder, there is an admin folder, right? If I want to go from ec2-user to directory 1, then what is the command? Simply cd space directory 1. You see, I'm into directory 1. If I want to go to Linux folder, simply I'll type cd space Linux. See, I'm into Linux folder. If I want to go to admin folder, I'll try to go to cd space admin. See, admin folder. In this way, I can try to navigate through the different folders with a simple cd commands. Okay, now I want to go back to my main folder. All right, that is ec2-user here. So let's try to go there. Okay, so to go back to the main folder, what is the command? cd space /home/ec2-user. Because my ec2-user is into the main home directory, so that's why I'm trying to type /home/ec2-user, right? Now you see, I am back to the ec2-user. In this way, these commands will try to help me out to navigate between different directories and creating directories, correct? Let's try to look at some more basic commands as well. So the next command is copying the files into a directory. Okay, copying the files into a directory. For example, I want to copy a file from one folder to another folder. In Windows, what I'll do, I'll simply right click and click on copy, and then I'll try to keep on paste, right? That is how it happens. But in the Linux, we need to execute with the help of a commands, correct? So for that, what I can do, let me try to show you that. In the Linux, how I can try to do it? Simply by using a cp command. Okay, so for example, I'll try to go to the directory one here, right? I'll go to the cd space Linux. So okay, cd space directory one, correct? It is not showing. It is showing that Linux folder is not there. You cannot go. So first I need to go to the directory one. For example, I want to go the next directory after ec2-user as part of the tree structure. Inside the ec2-user, the main folder is directory one. So I'm going to the directory one. Okay. So I'll go to the directory one and enter. Now, inside this particular directory one, I want to have a data copied. Okay. So for that, what I'll try to do, I will try to create some data and I'll try to move the file from one location to another location. Okay. So for example, inside the ec2-user, what are the files which are there? File 1, file 2, file 3, and the kt file, correct? So I want to move the file 1, this file, from ec2-user folder to the directory 1, because this directory 1 doesn't have any data, right? It is having only a folder. You can see there is only a Linux folder. So if I want to copy a file to this particular folder, I need to use the cp command, correct? So I'll go back to the ec2-user here, correct? I'm coming back one step back with a // okay? So inside this ec2-user, I want to copy the file 1. So I'll use the command called cp space. What is the file which is there? File 1, correct? File 1. Now, which folder I want to move this file 1? I want to move inside the directory 1. So basically the directory 1 doesn't have any data. That is only the folder is there, but no files. So let me move this file and check the access. cp file 1 and the Linux. You see this? My copy has been completed. Now, if I want to see the data inside this directory 1, then what I need to do? I'll simply try to go to the XLR directory 1, cd space directory 1, and then I will try to check with the help of ls command, correct? I'll type ls. You see? Oh, is it something? Oh, I just try to copy into the Linux folder, not directory 1. So the data has been moved to the Linux folder, not directory 1. So I'll go to the Linux folder and try to check if the file has been copied. Okay. cd space Linux. Now type ls. Let me check that. Okay. cd space. I'll go back to the home directory 1 / ec2-user. Now I'll type ls. I have this file. I want to move this file into this particular directory, right? So cp space file 1 space dir1. So I'm trying to copy this file 1 into this folder. So I'll try to execute the command. Now, if I want to see the data inside this particular directory 1, I'll type cd space dir1. Now, I'm into this folder dir1. Now, if I want to see the content, I'll type ls. Now you see the file 1 has been copied from ec2-user for location to directory 1. I hope everyone is seeing that, right? My file has been copied from ec2-user folder to the directory 1. In this way, I can try to copy the data one location to I can try to copy the data from one location to another location. That means copying the data from one folder to another folder. This is how the copy command will be helpful. All right. So there is a command called copy directories as well. If you want to copy the directory from one location to another location, this is a command. That is, you need to use cp space minus -rvfp, the folder you want to copy and where you want to copy. Okay, the folder you want to copy and where you want to copy. This is a command. So for example, inside this ec2-user, what are the folders which are there? What are the folders which are there? dir1, correct? So if I want to move this particular folder to where? Inside this dir1, I can try to move this particular folder, correct, to some other location. Then I can try to use this command. Okay, let's try that, how it is can be done. Okay, so let me try to do it. It doesn't have any data, right, inside this. For example, I'll come back to the home directory, cd space /home /ec2-user. Okay, now what are the data which I have here? Totally how many folders I have? I have one folder, main folder, and 5 files. So let me try to create one more directory inside this particular ec2-user. So what is the command to create one more directory? That the command is nothing but mkdir space dir2. Okay, so I've created one more directory. So now how many directories? Directory 1, directory 2, and 4. That means total 4 directories and 6 files. Now what I'm trying to do, I will move this directory 2 to directory 1. Okay, for that I will use this command. I'm trying to move a folders inside the folder, cp space -rvfp, and then which folder I want to move? It's not a move, actually it's a copy. Okay, I want to copy this folder into this folder. Okay, directory 2 to directory 1. So I'll type the folder name, and inside which folder I want to copy? Directory 1. So I'll type dir1. So cp space -rvfp recursive force copy, and this is the folder name which I want to move, copy, and where I want to copy, that is directory 1. So I'll try to enter. You can see this directory is being copied into this directory. Okay, so I'm done with the copy of the directory. So if I want to see the content, if the directories have been copied into that location, what is the command I can use? I can use the same tree command now, correct? So where I need to enter the tree command to see the data if it is copied or not, I need to go to inside directory 1 and check if directory 2 is copied or not, correct? So cd space dir1. So I'm into the dir1. So I need to see if this folder has been copied into this folder. Okay, for that, which command I have to use? Tree command, for example. Now you see inside this directory 1, my directory 2 has been copied, because I've tried to execute the command. In this way, I can try to copy the directory from one location to the another location. Earlier, there is no folder called directory 2, right? With the help of a copy command, I'm able to copy the directory from one location to another location. Okay. So rather copying, I can also try to use the command called move. So move means it will try to delete the data from one location and trying to move the data from other. It's nothing but a cut and paste. Earlier we tried to use a copy and paste, right? Now it is nothing but a cut and paste. Cut and paste means it can try to move the data from one location to the another location. Okay, it can move the data from one location to the another location. That is a helpful command with the help of a move command. So for example, if I want to move a file from one location to another location, I can try to do that. Okay, that is with the help of a move command. So how it is possible? For example, I'll go back to the home directory /home /ec2-user. I'm into this folder, correct? So what is the data which I have inside this folder? I have a directories. I have a directory 1, directory 2, file 1, file 2, file 3, file 4. So I don't want to copy and paste. I want to completely move this file to another location. Okay, that is a move. That means once I try to move this file will be vanished from here. Okay, for example, I want to move file 1 to the directory 1. Then this file 1 will be removed. Let's see. MV space. Which file I want to move? File 1. I'll type file 1 space. Where I want to move? I want to move this file to this particular folder, that is directory 1. Okay, are you sure you want to overwrite? Yes, I want to overwrite. I mean, it is saying there is a file already. So are you trying to overwrite? Yes. So I try to move the file 1 to the directory 1. So if I want to see the data inside ec2-user, if this file 1 is present or not, let's type recommand. Now you see the file 1 has been vanished because this has been moved to directory 1. I'll go and check inside this folder if file 1 is present or not. For that, what I'll try to do, I need to go to the directory 1 and then I'll try to execute the tree command so that I can see the file. You can see my file 1 has been moved from this location to this location. That means my file 1 has been moved from ec2-user to directory 1. In this way, I can use this copy command and the move commands as well. Even in the same way, you can move a directory from one location to another location as well. So for that, you need to use a same command, that is mv, same command mv. But here you need to give the directory name, that is nothing but a folder name. For example, let's go back to the ec2-user folder, cd spash home /ec2-user. Okay, so I'm into this. So if I try to type ls, now I have a 2 directories and 4 files. Now earlier I tried to move a file from one location to another location. Now I want to move a directory from one location to another location. That means this directory will be deleted. That means it is vanished and it is trying to cut and paste inside this directory. For example, I want to move this directory into this directory. So what I'll try to do, simply I'll type mv space directory 2. This is a folder I want to move. Where I want to move? To directory 1. So I'll type dir1. I enter. It is trying to tell, are you trying to overwrite? Yes, because there is already a folder called directory 2 inside this dir1. So do you want to overwrite? Yes, I want to overwrite. I'll try to give a confirmation. Now it is done. So if I try to see the data inside ls, this directory 2 will be removed. You see this? There won't be a name called directory 2 because this directory 2 has been moved to where? The destination, that is nothing but a directory 1. So if I want to see the information inside the directory 1, I need to change the directory from here and need to go there, cd space dir1. Now I'll try to type ls. Now you see this directory 2 has been moved from ec2-user folder to the directory 2, I mean directory 1 location. See, move is nothing but a cut and paste. Copy is nothing but a copy and paste, right? That you already aware in the Windows system as well. So in this way, I can try to interact with the commands within this Linux operating system as well. Okay. So there are basic commands like a renaming a file. Okay. So for example, I want to rename a file. Okay. So how I can try to do it? For example, here there is a file called file1. I want to rename it to a different name. So I'll try to use a command called mv space. I want to rename this file. So I'll try to put the old file name space new name. What is the new name? XLR file. Now if I try to type ls, now if you see, this file name has been changed from file1 to XLR file. Correct? Renaming a file. So now I want to rename this folder. For example, mv space. What is the directory name? dir2. I want to give a new name to my folder. Then I'll give as a XLR dir. I'll type ls. Now you see the file name has been changed and also the folder name has been changed from directory 2 to XLR directory. This is how I can try to perform the operation. Okay, this is about renaming a file and renaming a directory. So we have tried to see and learn about different various commands and interacting with the Linux, correct? For example, if I want to remove a file, I want to remove this XLR file from this particular folder. What is the command? rm space XLR file. Okay, enter. It is asking, do you want to remove the empty file? Yes or no? It is asking confirmation because we might have a data, right? I'm trying to type yes. It is done. If I type ls, now my XLR file has been deleted from this directory 1 location. I can also remove the folder as well. I want to remove a folder called XLR directory from this directory 1 location. Then what I need to do? I'll type the command called rmdir, remove directory space. What is the directory name? XLR directory. XLR directory. If I try to type ls, see, my folder is also deleted. So this rm command will try to use to helpful to remove a file, and rm directory will try to remove a directory. In this way, we can try to administrate the files and the folders inside this Linux machine. Are we clear on this? I hope everyone understood the concept, right? So these are the various ways that will try to help out to understand and trying to interact and see that. Okay. So let me try to delete this. Yeah. Let's try to see some more basic commands as well. So there are concept of a file permissions. Okay. So how we will try to give a file permissions for the inside the Windows? We will try to click on some folder or some kind of a file, right? For example, this is the one. This is my Windows. And if I want to give some permissions inside some particular file, for example, okay, how I can try to create that? I'll try to click on properties. I'll try to go to the advanced and I'll try to see the permissions, right? Like a read permissions or write permissions. You can see that I'm trying to click on edit. So any file that you want to give a permission, like a modify permission, read permissions, execute permissions in the same way, correct? So you can try to give a permission to specific user so that he can try to read and modify. You can try to give some permission specific guest user. You can try to give a read permissions for security purpose, right? In the same way, Linux also have a file permissions concept where this file permissions will be applied on owner or user level or the group level or others level. Okay. So here the permissions will be defined with the different levels as in like Windows. Like we can try to give a read permissions, write permissions and execute permissions. So here inside the Linux, the permissions will be defined with the symbols like a read means R, write permission means W, execute permissions with X, correct? So what is a read permission? Read permission is nothing but opening the file. Write permission is nothing but a edit, append and delete the file. X permissions means to run a command, like you want to execute some action. So we'll try to use X. So R, W, X. These will be the defined permissions that you can try to apply in the Linux. All right. So as I told you, with the help of a symbols, I can try to give a permissions. That means this type of a permission access we are calling as a symbolic method. Okay. That means I can give this read permission, write permission, execute permissions to owner level, group level or others level. That means RWX, correct? Read permission, write permission, execute permissions can be given to owner level, group level and others level. Okay. So how I can try to do that? I'll try to show you. For example, I'm trying to call this as a symbolic method. That means it will be defined with the symbols. That means UGO. What is UGO? U is nothing but owner level. G is nothing but a group level. O means other level. That's what we have seen, right? U means user level. G means group level. O means other level. You need to remember UGO as a shortcut. And the permissions type: read access, write access, and execute access. That means RWX. So to give a permissions, for example, to specific file, I will try to show you how it is possible. Okay. So for example, I'll go back to /ec2 -user/ I want to go back to the main folder, so that I want to do some actions over there. Okay. So I have a different files over here. All right. So I want to give some permissions. Okay. To particular file. For example, this is a file, correct? Or else this is a file. I want to see these permissions, right? If I want to see these permissions for this particular file, the command is ls space -l space kt file. You see that? ls space -space kt file. It is trying to show me the permissions for this file. How I'm trying to see this is a file. I want to see the permissions. I'll click on properties. I'll go to the security. I'll click on edit and try to advance. These are the permissions I'm trying to see. In the same way, in the Linux, if I want to see the specific permissions, I can try to use ls space -l kt file. Then this is getting a default permission access, correct? These are the default permission. That means the first 3 digits will try to show you the permissions for user level. The second 3 digits will try to show you the permissions for group level. The last 3 digits will try to show you the permissions for others level. That means total 3 sets here. Okay. As I told you, for any file, you will have an access for user level, group level, others level. So you need to understand that user level got 3 digits, group level got 3 digits, others level got 3 digits. Now user level got read access, write access, and execute access is nil. That means it did not got an execute access. Now group level got read access, but not the write access and execute access. And others level also it got read access, but write access and execute access has been not granted. Okay, in this way we need to understand the permissions level here. So if I want to assign the permissions for kt file, okay, into a different methods. For example, I want to assign different permissions to the file. For example, I want to assign user level equal to read access, write access, and execute access, and group level access equal to read access and write access, and others level equal to read access. Or else I can give a write access as well. So I need to execute the command. Let's see what is the command. So the command is chmod, and what is a how I can try to give a permission? I want to give the user level equal to u equal to read access, write access, and execute access. For example, rwx. Okay, comma. Now group level. The second set of things will try to define group level. So I want to give group level equal to read access and the write access. So group level equal to read access and write access. And the other level, that means other level means, for example, guest users, because the guest users I don't want to give any permission. So I want to give a normal read permission. So I want to give other level equal to write permissions. Okay. User level equal to read write access, group level equal to read write access, other level equal to read access. Then I'm trying to do it. So which file I want to give permissions? kt file. Now you see this file permissions will be changed. So to see the files permission for kt file, what is the command? ls space -l space kt file. You see this? This permission has been changed to this. How? User level got read write access. As I try to give here read write access, that is fine. Other group level equal to read write access. Yes, it got group read write access, and other level equal to read access, because write access and execute access has been blocked, because this is how I try to execute. I'm trying to give this. For example, I want to give full permissions to user level, group level, other level. What is the command? Chmod u equal to rwx, comma, group equal to rwx, comma, other level equal to rwx, space kt file. See, I got a full permissions to user level, group level, other level. In this way, I can try to assign permissions to a specific files. Okay, this is how I can try to control the permissions. So that I can trying to do it the symbolic methods. And also there is other method called absolute method, which you can try to give a permissions with the help of a symbols. I mean absolute numbers. With the help of a numbers, you can try to assign the permissions. In this way, I can try to give an access to some particular files. Okay. This is all about file permissions. Okay. So we can try to create a users as well inside the Linux machine. Okay. So how it can be done? I can try to create a user with specific command. All right. So we have a different users, right? Like a super user, system user, and normal users in the Linux machine. So I can try to create the users with a specific command. That is nothing but a user add and the username. Okay. For example, I can try to create a user with a user and the username. How I can try to do it? For example, there is a EC2 user. I want to create a user. User add space. So I want to create a new user. For example, John. See, I have created a user. Okay. If I want to see if the user is created or not, what is the command? I can try to show you that. Okay. If I want to see that, this user's information will be stored inside particular location. Okay. So I'll try to go to that location. Space /etc/ slash. Now you see this. If I try to go tail space /etc/passwd inside this particular file, all the users which I created, it will be stored. You can see John has been created because I am the one who created. So EC2-user is a default user which is already created by default. Correct. So if I try to create one more user, user add Renu. So I'll try to see if the user has been created or not. See, Renu user has been created. In this way, I can try to create multiple users. Okay, with this command, and I can try to assign the password as well. Okay, this is all about users creation. So for example, if I want to modify the username, okay, what is the command? User mod. Okay, so I'll try to type user mod space -l. What is the new name I want to give? I want to modify the John. Okay, for example, Johnson. This is a new name I want to give. What is the old name? That is nothing but a John. Correct. I want to modify the username. So you see this? The name has been modified with a Johnson. Earlier it is John, right? I try to modify with the help of a Johnson. Okay. This is a command to modify the username. All right. So for example, I just go back. We'll try to see a general commands. Okay. There are various commands actually within this, limited time duration. Whatever the commands we could understand that we are trying to practice. Okay. So I want to see the condition or the CPU usage into this particular server. There's a command called top. You see, top command will try to give me the information about how much CPU that has been utilized. What is the process that is being utilized? You can see this. PID is nothing but a process ID. This is a user, And this is how much CPU it is being utilized, how much memory it is being utilized, what is the time, and what is the commands that is being worked on. This is a top command will be helpful to see the information. Okay. If I want to see the IP address of this computer or the server which I'm trying to access, then I can type ifconfig. You can see it will try to show me the information about IP address and the router packets information and the subnet mask, everything that is trying to show up. The IP address of my server is 172.32.26.214. Subnet mask is this. Okay. This is about the network level command that is trying to help me out. If I want to ping some particular website, for example, xlr.com, I can try to use this. You can see I'm able to check the internet connection for this website if I'm trying to access from the server. It is trying to show me that information as well. Okay. Host name. If I try to type the command called host name, it is trying to show me the host name that is connected to this IP address. All right. There are various commands that will try to help out as well. All right. So just try to clear it out. So there are various commands like user administrations, group administration, and network administrations, file permissions. There are various commands. So we have tried to understand how this will be trying to help you out. Okay. So we can try to administrate, we can try to do whatever the things that we are trying to do it. For example, we have seen there are files which are actually inside this particular location, right? Like example, file 1, file 2, file 3. So kt file, correct? I want to add some content, kt space kt file. I want to just try to add some content here. I want to see the content inside this file. You can see this is the data which is there. If I want to see this data in the editor mode, vi space kt file. You can see I can see the data inside this particular location. If I want to modify this information, okay, I can try to modify with the help of this command. You can see Linux world. Earlier it is hello world, right? I'm trying to modify with the Linux. Escape. I'm trying to exit. So if I try to see this cat file, you see hello world has been changed from Linux world now. So in this way, I can try to modify the files as well. Okay. So this is all about executing the basic commands. So I hope this session would be helpful for you. And if you are deep into any Linux class, you will try to understand, you will try to practice in the lab sessions as well. Okay. If you try to go into a full batch. Okay. Any doubts on this? And I think I'm done. Thanks everyone for your time. I hope you have learned some new things. All the best. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Balachandra.
Yep.
So thank you, students, for joining the session, and we'll meet on Monday. Okay. So tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, right? So there is no class on Saturday, Sunday, and we have a class on Monday. Okay. Thank you.